Well, welcome to the community kitchen. Today we are going to make sweet potato, carrot, ginger, and coconut milk soup. So I hope that you will just sit back and just enjoy. My name is Judy Anderson, and I am a home cook, and I love to share recipes as well as just cook from my heart. So join me as we get going here. So how we're starting today is that in your soup pot, start and cut 1 or 2 onions. It's going to be depending on how much onion do your family like, and 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I put a little bit of olive oil as well as some coconut oil in the pot because I feel that if we are going to have the coconut milk in the end, that coconut at the beginning will tie us in beautifully. And so that is to be just nicely sauteed, not browned. And to that, the recipe calls for about a thumb of ginger. So we're talking about this much, and that can be also just finely chopped will be great. And as that's cooking away, we're just going to prep our vegetables. So I'm here to tell you that you're never too old to learn something. So this week I had asked H&W Produce, who are so gracious to sponsor all of the produce for our filming, if I could have some yams. And sure enough, that is what I got, yams. Not thinking that I was really asking for sweet potatoes with the orange flesh. So this will just make a slight difference, not to really the flavor of the soup, but maybe to the color, using the white of the yam instead of the orange of the sweet potato. So we'll just take a moment here and we will peel the yam. And we don't have to be fancy also in our chopping of the vegetables because we are going to use an immersion blender to purify our soup when it's done. But if there is a little bit of consistency then in the sizes, it's going to just make that whole the soup, it cooks a little bit evenly, and the potatoes as well as the carrots will sort of be done at that same point. So the recipe says we're going to use about 1 thumb of ginger root. So this is the fresh ginger root, and you'll notice that sometimes it comes all gnarly like this, and others it's in bigger pieces. So obviously the bigger chunk is going to be a little bit easier for us to use. And if also you don't have access to the fresh ginger, there isn't going to be anything wrong with using a little bit of ginger paste. Again, not going to alter the taste of the recipe. And so we'll just put that coarsely chopped ginger into our soup mix as well. So in this recipe, I am going to use the Thai red chilies. And just a word of caution, they are pretty hot. I know lots of people love to have that bit of spice, a little heat along with the sweet, but I do suggest start out with maybe 2 and check your flavors and then add additional chilies if you prefer. And I am going to put on my rubber gloves. A little tricky here with maybe some damp hands, but I'm going to put the rubber gloves on, and I would say suggest as well just to use a little caution when you're chopping the chilies, that you're not going to want to touch your eye or whatever, and wash your hands really well when you're finished. So I'm going to just remove the little end, but we are going to use the chilies and the seeds. We will use all parts of the chilies. And they do have a little bit of a rubbery skin, but that will also cook down and become beautifully soft and fragrant as the soup cooks. And drop them into our soup. So of course at the community kitchen we're all about no waste, no hunger. So if you have a little piece of ginger left over, of course you can put that in the fridge or in your freezer. On these real gnarly guys, I think I'm not going to worry about peeling them, because I'm going to make a beautiful drink out of this. So if you're having a day when your stomach just doesn't feel quite so great, what is the very best is to just chop up some ginger, add it to your teapot, And then I'm going to do the Jamie Oliver trick, always having that kettle of boiling water ready. And adding the water, boiling water, just into your, over your hot ginger, and letting that steep for probably 10 or 15 minutes. This soup will take probably a good 40 or 45 minutes to get your vegetables nice and soft. And so at that point, we want to obviously just take a quick test and taste to see if we're happy with the amount of chilies, and just with that lovely balance between the heat and the sweet. I think it's all good. All right, so we're just getting ready then to finish off our soup. And so along with the heat and the sweet, we want just that little punch of citrus. So I'm going to just take the zest from the lemon. And then, of course, we want to add that beautiful lemon juice as well. And then in the lemon juice goes. And then really our final ingredient is to add the coconut milk. So I'm going to do that right now. And then we'll give that just a couple of minutes. Oops. So we're going to have this luxurious creamy soup. But if you also decide that you would like this more as a stew, you don't even have to do the immersion blender. You can just keep it nice and chunky. No problem with that as well. So we're going to take then just a moment and use the immersion blender. I think this is one of my favorite kitchen appliances, is the blender. It is so much safer than trying to transfer this hot soup then into a blender jar and then back into your pot. And so we will just give it a couple rolls. The soup is really quite lovely and creamy, and maybe even a little bit thick. And so at this point, if you like the soup a little thinner, you could add just a little bit more water, your hot water, and it might need a little bit of extra chicken stock, but I think really at this consistency it's going to be quite lovely. So I think it's time now to dish up the soup and just be able to savor these beautiful flavors. So as I said, I like to cook with love, and not only just at this time of the year, but we want to be able to share the love all year round. And perhaps we'll just add a little bit of the red Thai chili pepper, just as a garnish. It makes a beautiful presentation, as well as gives our guests a heads up that we've got chili peppers in the soup. So this is how we make sweet potato or yam, ginger, carrot, and coconut milk soup. I hope that you will enjoy. For the complete recipe, please check out our website at www.ckpcalgary.ca. Thank you for joining me.